Hey guys, so I haven't done a unwrapping of parts in a while, so I thought, what the hell, I'll do something a little different today. So anyhow, the brown truck just showed up, and of course that's always a happy day. So anyhow, let's open this package up and see what's inside. All right, good old Amazon for you. And let's see what we got inside here. By the way, they are not sponsoring this episode, but they seem to make pretty decent stuff, so. This is the same company I bought the AN fittings after I had my fuel leak debacle. So I thought I'd give them another try. Come on. Alright. So since I'm waiting for the O-ring for the variable valve timing, I thought I might as well get these coming, and I can weld these onto the exhaust manifold, and then I can try and put a half-ass exhaust on this thing in the meantime. And looks like some pretty nice stuff. I might actually have some room to weld in there. I don't know, we'll see. Pretty cool. Alright, so I got the I got a band clamp welded on here. Actually, it didn't take very much time at all. I just kind of cleaned up the outside of the manifold. As you can see, there's a lip here, so I pounded it on there and just burned it on the inside and put a little bit of a bead on the outside here just for extra measure. So I got this one done, and then the mail truck showed up, and I had my O-rings for my variable valve timing, which made me very, very happy. So I could get going on that. So I got this thing all tore apart, and essentially what you got to do, you're supposed to take this cover bolt off right here, which is a 14 millimeter Allen. Take that off, and inside there is I believe a 10 millimeter Allen bolt. So my first problem was I could not get this off of here. I started to round it off, which I wasn't going to round that off because that's a deal breaker. So I thought, no, I'll just take these 5 bolts off and take the cover off, and then I can get right to that Allen head. It's only torqued down to 60 foot-pounds is what Toyota recommends, so I didn't think it would be that big a deal. So anyhow, I put a wrench on the cam, or took the valve cover and intake and all that. I put a wrench on there, and I hit the breaker bar on there trying to break it loose, and it just was not coming loose. And so I had in the meantime, I had taken the timing belt off and cleaned everything up, get all the oil and shit out of there. So I drilled a hole right here so I could get my impact gun on there, and I was giving it hell, and that thing just wasn't breaking loose for anything. And while I was doing that, the wrench had popped off, or slid off this way, and I spun the cam over while the engine was at top dead center, which these two JZ GE motors are interference. So I was really freaking the hell out there for a little bit. So that's why there's not much video footage, because there was a lot of bad language and a lot of screaming and yelling going on. So I figured I'd save you guys from having to listen to that and seeing me get pissed off. So anyhow, so I finally did get it off. I had to take the oxyacetylene cutting torch, and basically I cherried the end of the bolt, because there is like this much the bolt's this long, and there's like that much Loctite on it, and that's why it was so hard to get off there. So once I cherried it up, it came right off like it was supposed to. And so anyhow, I got the gear off, I slapped the new O-ring on there and put it all back together. This is the old belt still, and we did crank it over, and it seems to crank over normally and doesn't seem to have any issues, thank God. So what I'm going to do now is just go ahead and slap this thing back together, minus the timing belt cover, and make sure that it runs like it's supposed to, and that there is no oil leaking out of here before I put the new belt on, which will be here tomorrow. Now Nick's putting a rock assault rear end, and it's full runner in the background. So we're using the hoist for the first time. Works like a champ. Sure is nice not laying on the ground doing this shit, I'll tell you what, isn't it?
Fucking A right.
It works like a champ. So anyhow, if you hear that noise going on in the background or see some stuff, that's what's going on.
You'll never get monetized with my mouth.
What's that?
I said you'll never get monetized with my mouth.
Yeah, well, you know, me neither. All right, so what I'm going to do next is I'm pretty much as assembled as I'm going to get until I get the timing belt in. What I'm going to do now is just go ahead and knock the wiring out real quick, since there's only a couple wires to take care of, and then I'm not going to bore you with that. It's nothing exciting. And then what I'll do, if I have time, is I'll take the other exhaust manifold off and I'll show you guys how I did that. Once again, it's really straightforward, so I'll knock that out as quickly as I can. Okay, so I got everything back together as you saw, so I'm going to go ahead and give this thing a test fire just to for follow-up on my previous video about how to wire these things up. So this is just this wire here, just for in case you're wondering, is for the immobilizer. I just ran it over to my hot lead. This is just for testing purposes only. It runs. And so last night I did all the wiring and ran it all inside the cab. Alright, well, I got it all back together again. Serpentine belt and everything on. That's all ready to go. So now back to the exhaust. And so what I did is I cut it right at where the weld was for the stock flange, which actually is right here. So I cut it as close as I possibly could. And so what I need to do now is to clean up this area and this area so that this little lip here will slide on there. Not a huge deal. Shouldn't take too terribly much time, so I'll go ahead and clean that up real quick, and then I'll give you a view of it once I get it all cleaned up. So I got it all ground down and got the clamp on there. If you're wondering why this O2 sensor's in there, I did that so I didn't get any weld slag on the threads for the O2 sensor. These are the rear sensors anyway, don't need them. So I did that just to keep things safe in there. So anyhow, as you can see, I got it all welded in on the inside. I'm gonna go ahead and throw a bead on the outside here and get that all happy. Alright guys, well that's all for today. I'm super happy with how everything turned out with the engine and the exhaust and everything. Couldn't have went any better. Averted disaster, thank goodness. So I appreciate you watching my video, and make sure to hit the like and subscribe button if you get a chance. That really helps the channel out a lot if you could do that for me. And we'll see you next time.